and talk about all the things that are happening at our institutions. Last night I was talking with some coaches, and I think we found out there was 14 guys that are currently on an NFL team or in a CFL team in a camp. And I think that's just awesome. When you look at our conference, it shows how strong our conference is. It shows how strong each team is. And we're right now about in the middle of the teams that are talking, and each team before us talk about how their team's going to be better. We also feel like our team's going to be better. And we are excited about getting our guys in here August 10th. Everybody talks about being excited about being up here. I think the real part of it is being excited to get our guys on our campus and build upon what we've done this spring, build upon what our guys have done this summer, and then when we report on that August 10th date, to continue to build each day to be as best football team we possibly can be.
Sorry, I forgot introductions. Head coach Jay Long, Cody Paul, and Colin Eisman. Questions? Yep.
Craig Master, Carroll Sports. So address this to the players and coach after they address you want to talk. I know you had a couple 8-3 seasons heading into last year, and then a little down year for you guys, not up to Chadron standards. Talk to us about what you learned from last year and how you're going to build on that going into this year.
Our strength and conditioning coach, DJ Priest, stressed to us in the spring the importance of, how taking summer seriously is important. We work hard in the spring, and if you, get lazy in the summer, you'll lose it. You have to work back up, and we stressed how important it was for us to have the mindset of season well before camp, not coming into camp being ready, but being ready before camp. And I think our team took that to heart, and we had a lot of players come back and start getting ready for the season.
Yeah, 5 and 6 is unacceptable for Chadron. That's just the way it is. I think we got a lot of people pretty riled up, at least in our defense, but come out swinging this year.
Well, I'm sorry, to follow up on that, Coach. You do have a lot of returning starters, so I guess that'll help you guys going into this year.
Yeah, last year we had 8 redshirt freshmen and freshmen on the field at one time towards the end of the season, and during the fall, that you have some trying times. We're freshmen make mistakes. The good news is all those kids are returning. Plus, some kids are coming back from injuries from last year, and we're excited to get on the field and really just show what we're about and what our program is about. We have strong tradition, and I think Colin said it, and Cody both said it. Our expectations are much higher than what we finished last year.
Coach, 4 of the 6 losses last season, 10 or fewer points. Is there really motivation for this ball club? Is the fact that we were in the games? Is that any motivation for you guys?
I think every game is motivation. I mean, when we start off against Fort Lewis, and they got things really heading the right direction, and then we got to put all of our effort into taking on them. Then after them, we start our next game, then our next game after that, and ultimately we are going to talk about last year after probably this day. After that, we start talking about what's moving forward, and the guys we have buying into what our program's about, and continue to build upon our own mark, making our own mark within the conference.
Coach, you open at home this year for the first time in a while. It's going to be nice. And you have 4 road games, 3 of those 4, Colorado Mesa, Colorado Mines, CSU Pueblo. That's quite the gauntlet on the road. Talk a little bit about the schedule this year.
With the schedule change with Western New Mexico dropping out, kind of made for a unique scheduling for us. And this year we had 6 at home, and then we go to South Dakota School. Very friendly schedule, and I think the biggest thing is that it's great for our home fans, our fans. We have a great atmosphere at Chadron State. It's not easy to drive to Chadron State, and I think that when schools come to our place, they're going to see a lot of rolling hills and a lot of grass, and so I think we need to use all those things to our advantage.
You talked about the youth a little bit. You look back at last season and you think about all of those close losses. Outside of you, were there any recurring themes?
I really think this really just believing what our core beliefs are in our program. Being physical, being tough, and when you're talking to freshmen about that, sometimes they're just really just happy to be in the right spot at the right time. And ultimately now with our leadership that we have, with the veterans that are returning, those younger kids getting those valuable reps, all those things are going to be really beneficial when we get into game time. And it's already shown in spring. When spring practices start, our team had a different mindset and acted differently. And they act like they have the confidence of playing those game reps, and those are things we need to build upon. And really, on that August 10th, it's just building upon what we did in the spring, and continue to make our new mark upon this season.
Rather close proximity with Fort Lewis. You finished with them last season. You opened up with them this year. What kind of difference is that?
It's just unique. I don't really know if there's any. Coach and I were talking about it last night. Just not really much to say about it. Just the way we don't get to choose our own schedules. That's just the way it happened. They had to travel to us both times, so that kind of makes it also unique. Really, it just comes down to focus on what we do and what we do well, and finding what we do well, and continue to build upon that.
Just to piggyback on some of the schedule comments, with the way the schedule's formatted out, you have your open date in the middle of the season, and you're bringing Humboldt State, a team that I believe they reached Super Region 3 finals or semifinals last year. Talk about, I guess, how a game like that can not only help Chadwick, but help the rest of the RMAC as far as scheduling for Super Regionals and that.
It really wasn't a choice of who we wanted. It was who was open. When your schedule falls at the end with that open date, you start calling every conference as who's open on those dates. And Humboldt was open, and we figured out a way that we could get a home and home with them. And we're extremely excited about it. They're a terrific football team. I think that they've got 3 preseason All-American picks, and we got a lot of pro hopefuls on that squad. And our guys are just excited about the opportunity. We have some California kids on our roster, and they're excited about playing a California team and using that they weren't looked at by them, and we ended up this is their opportunity to go show those guys that we also play football in Nebraska also.
Question for you, Colin. Last year, Dylan Furrier was one of the best linebackers in the RMAC, and now he is one of your coaches with Chadwick State. I'm just curious, after playing with him for a few years, now you're being coached by Dylan, how that has worked in spring and what you get out of that.
Well, me and Dylan have a real close relationship, and you got to keep it professional because he's your coach now. And there's definite boundaries to what we're doing. You got to change your relationship style, but really I think it's going to be great because we're comfortable with each other. We know we have a background with each other, and I think it's going to help me a lot.
Question for Cody. Letting kick returns last season. If I'm correct, some minor injuries last season kept them silent. This season, how did you really approach summer workouts, and you seem healthy?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of us came back earlier. I was one of the ones that came back sooner, didn't spend a lot of time back home in California. Injuries last year, like they were setbacks, like you said, but this year, going into senior season, you leave it all on the line. You realize that last year to play for Chadwick State, you want to be the best you possibly can be, leave it all on the field. So taking summer seriously, doing workouts, getting ready, will definitely help me out.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Coach, offensive line, you lose Dan Sotelo, who was a real good one for you, but a lot of guys are coming back. Can you address the line a bit? What do you expect out of those guys?
Yeah, we are returning 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen. With the 5th one, it looks like we have a sophomore and a freshman fighting for that position. We have great competition. Coming out of spring, Travis Ramza came out as a starter on that right tackle to replace Daniel. I think that when you look at some of our strengths of our team, it's got to be in our lines. With the offensive line and our defensive line, we're returning all of our defensive lines. So, those guys got to feed upon each other in fall camp, and continue to get each other as good as they possibly can be. And those 2 segments are 2 segments we're going to rely on as the season goes.
And a question for Colin and then Coach, if you want to chime in. Last year, defensively, statistically, you guys second in the RMAC in passing defense, 3rd most sacks, and 2nd fewest first downs allowed. How does the defense stack up this year in comparison?
Oh, we're going to be there, I think. There was a lot of mistakes last year, a lot of corrections. I like what we're doing with the scheme. We made a few adjustments, and I think it's really just going to be for the best, and we're really going to excel. You want to be the first in everything, and we will be.
Coach, you want to add on?
Yeah, I think that defensively it's going to be an exciting year. We return all our defensive line. We're returning a big chunk of our secondary. Our linebacking core, we're bringing back a kid that coming off an injury from last year's spring, wasn't able to play this last fall. And then I think we got some exciting freshmen that are going to be able to make a difference, make an impact on our defense, and build upon those things.
Awesome, thank you, gentlemen. Next up, Fort Lewis.